Welcome back to Careful Boys, everybody. We are in the midst of another monumental episode. We have Kalyne Lionheart with us.
Oh, hello.
We also have Nick Dunn, Steve Greene, Anthony Lee, and Joe Jitsukawa.
Hello, everybody. Joe's back. Hello.
Today, we are discussing, for those of you who are married and those of you who are not, is divorce out of the question?
That's what I think everybody says, but then they get divorced because they suck at marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody goes into a marriage thinking.
3 is done. 40
Nobody
seconds.
goes into a marriage thinking I'm gonna divorce one day. No one thinks that.
No one thinks that?
You sure?
I don't think so. I don't think people go into the marriage going like, I can't wait till we get
Was
divorced.
he born yesterday?
I think some people have it as a thing. Like they think it's
In the
possible.
back of their mind?
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
People are so in love, or they're just in the
what about
marriage.
them gold
they're like,
diggers?
we're so fucking dope. Like, but that's the exception, right? Everyone thinks that they're different from everybody else. We're special. We got it figured out. They don't. And then the problems start happening. Life starts happening. They can't cooperate. They start arguing. All these issues, and then they get divorced.
So does that mean that in your marriage, every problem that could possibly happen, you can visualize working through it?
No, you can solve it with a divorce.
Easy. That's the easy way to do
Piece
it.
of cake. No, look, man,
Sign a couple
there is
papers.
something whack about saying divorce is out of the question because that means the partner could just kick it.
Yeah.
You don't have to fucking work hard anymore, and you could just be like a couch potato video game guy or whatever, and like. I mean, nothing, but you gotta engage with your partner sometimes too. And so, like, if you're just gonna kick it and just chill in your relationship and let it stagnate, divorce should absolutely be a stopgap there and be like something that you could resort to keep your partner engaged.
I don't believe in divorce. I just believe in cheating.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
So to be honest, right? If I were to say divorce is out of the question, in my head, I'm just not even making it an option because I might use it as a cop out.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't trust yourself? You mean like kind of
Phrase
thing?
is a little off.
No, because like I think when you are pushed to your limits instead of working things out, like you might use it as a get out of jail card.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But then
To win an
maybe
argument
you just
with it?
needed to you just needed to work shit out, like so like for example, there's some non-negotiables, like maybe depending on the couple, cheating might be one. Sneaking, like doing shady shit, right? Like where you're just like, oh man, you really fucked it up here.
Cheating is the one, I think. Cheating is like
That could be, but there's some people that stay together, and there's some like that are like, I don't know. It just depends on each couple what their non-negotiables are.
Right.
I think those obvious ones like abuse, like if I'm getting my ass beat every day, I gotta get out of that situation, right? But if it's something else like, we just keep fighting over the toilet seat, and I think it's time to get a divorce, like that kind of shit. I think
all
that's
the
the
time.
kind of shit that I'm like,
It does.
I don't want to use that as an option for that. And when people do, they just divorce because they just fucking can't work out their shit. Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes people get pressured by their community to get married too soon. You know what I mean? Like, or even like church groups, religiously, right? It's like there's this kind of stigma. So sometimes people in their I've seen this happen many times in their like religious communities. They'll just feel that pressure, so they'll get married, but they were young, and then like 4 years later, it's like that shit was not gonna work out, and divorce is actually like a saving grace for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think in those situations, the fact that it exists can be healthy, I guess.
I've had friends that divorce is out of the question 100%. They've had infidelity. They've had fucking molestation.
And they still don't divorce.
I've had family members that have gone through abuse because in families that religion is the top spot, divorce is out of the question, honestly.
It's usually that, because I know people who married their first choice because they just wanted to get out of the house and that was the only way.
Damn.
And then obviously you're in your early 20s, like 20, 21, 22. You don't make the best of decisions if you didn't have much experience about the outside world. and then they're splitting up in their 40s and 50s with kids because they realize, oh, I wasn't even with the person I wanted to be. I used them as an escape.
Right.
Yeah, that's the reason I was asking, because I've grown up around divorce being out of the question. I've grown up around it, like almost my entire family. I have a fucking gigantic family. Maybe like 2 people have been divorced, and it's still kind of like, oh, that's too bad you guys didn't do like what we were planning to do, and that's not get divorced. It's like it's more important to not get divorced than it is to have a good marriage.
For you, were you rooting for them to divorce? You're like, yeah.
Like the modern age, I'm like, yeah, if you're being fucking abused, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of selfishness with families too, where say there's like a routine, like your family goes to this house for Christmas, but then those people get divorced, and then the families are like, well, that ruins the tradition. You know, there's so much shit that's like,
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't
it's
fucking
such
matter.
a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Or like the shame of it, right? Because a lot of people see like divorce as like failure. You know,
Right.
Like not you because you and this couple didn't work out. You just have to break up, and it's like shame on the rest of the family. I know there's a lot of that stuff there too.
That's fair to say, because I think like when religion is the base of many things, it kind of logic's out the window for most things, and I think marriage is one of those things that gets affected by that. But I always thought it, like I grew up saying that, as weird as it sounds to be like, is divorce out of the question? I grew up always going, yeah, divorce is out of the question for me, because I can't I really can't picture, like, maybe I'll still do it someday. Who knows? But then, like, my whole life, it's been like a thing that, hey, if you think you could ever get divorced, then you don't deserve to get married. It's like a weird fucking indoctrinated like thing.
Well, there's a stigma about failure too. It's like, okay, so I failed in my marriage, say, and then like a divorce would be that, and it's like that's bad. But like, bro, failure has taught me so much shit in life and teaches people. It's the greatest instructor, I think. So like, the idea that like you got to sit there and be stigmatized because you had a failed marriage is whack to me. It's like, I think you'll do better next time. Like you'll maybe stick up for yourself going in more, or look for things more going in than you did last time.
Yeah, I think it's imperative for growth.
I pushed my mom to file divorce papers. So when my dad left when I was 13, 14, they never actually got a divorce. So they were still technically married. And then we both had carried his last name. And I made the first move when I was 16 or 17 to get the tattoo of my grandma's last name, because I wanted to change it. And then I think I got a lawyer. My mom's friend, he helped me file to change my last name legally. And then I said, you need just like, even if it's easier to file taxes like married status, you'll probably benefit much more because I'm a dependent and you're a single mother. So go ahead and do that, and also collect, because he hasn't been sending us any money. And then like he was complaining like, you're trying to fucking bleed me dry, bitch. And he was like only sending couple hundred, like we just told him to send a couple $100 a month to pay for phone bill.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and just that's it. And he's like, $200 a month, you fucking bitch. Trying to bleed me motherfucking dry.
That's the funniest shit.
Right? You fucking gold digging bitch. It's crazy. And then so
That's so funny.
How much gold?
yeah. So basically my mom didn't want to do it for the same reasons. She's not even a part of the church.
Yeah.
She just thought that divorce was like a sin and all this. And I'm like, fuck that. We're not a part of the church. Fuck those people. Like, fuck everybody. Just do what you got to do. And then so after that, she actually filed for those papers. She got, you know, all that stuff. And then she didn't even ask for anything, but like, yeah, like a couple $100 a month, which she stopped paying after like a year. But like, it's like all those things, right? I'm like, divorce is not a bad thing if you're in a fucked up situation.
No,
it's a good thing, because I rooted for that, and then we felt so much more liberated after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the stigma of people who, or like, it's like a thing. I grew up hearing it all the time. I don't know if it's as common now, but when people go, oh, your parents got a divorce, that means you're more likely to get a divorce.
That is a thing. Yeah, I've heard
I mean,
that.
it's statistically true, and I can, just from my own experience, I can see why.
Is it fair?
I mean, it's not nice to hear, but that's the same thing as saying, oh, like you got beat as a kid, you are more likely to probably discipline your children the same way.
Yeah.
It's not that you want to hear that, but I understand that stat.
Maybe it's more mentally like an option to you than for somebody who hasn't been through that or lived through it.
Or if you've seen your parents divorce because you saw the tragedy and then you saw the greatness afterwards, and then you see that same tragedy in your own situation and recognize that there's greatness on the other side, that makes sense.
It's all application, right?
That's just a wild thing to say to somebody. Oh shit, your parents got divorced? Oh shit, you're next, huh?
Hey. Thing. And when you think about, like, I remembered when I was a kid, the first friend I had whose family was going through a divorce, it was like devastating to the whole school. Like, we were just, and the church. I went to church and school with this kid, and we were best friends, and we were in first grade, and like we were 6 years old, and he was struggling to tell me, like, hey, I want to talk to you about something.
At 6?
6 years old. We were 6, and then I was like, what's going on?
Fucking adult conversation.
And he was sitting like this. We were just sitting together, and he just goes, it's about my parents. And then I was like, I had no clue, like, what. I'm like, did they die? You know? Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, maybe ask your mom, because I don't know how to talk about it. And it was like the saddest shit. And then I asked my mom, like, hey, so-and-so's parents, is something going on? And my mom was like, okay, I think we need to teach you now that sometimes, parents don't always stay together. And like, it was the craziest thing to learn. And then I don't know so much that this dude had, I don't know if that really played into the likelihood of his future, but he did have a little bit of a problem with marriage later in life.
Did you keep telling him?
Yeah.
Remind him all the time.
I said, bam!
And then it compounds from there. Like, if you get a divorce and then you get another divorce, you're 3 times more likely to get another divorce.
Yeah.
It just keeps on growing.
10xing, dude.
It's like an unpaid parking ticket, like doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles.
It compounds.
That's what made me realize that, in my personal opinion, I didn't think it was so much that, oh, his parents got divorced, so now he was likely to get divorced. I think it all rides on the understanding you leave the kid with, and I don't think they did the best job. I think being 6 years old and hearing the way we were both trying to, like, suddenly have to be adults about it, it's like, that's probably not the best way. Yeah. He had no clue, like, really how to say it, what to do, what to, he felt like it was his fault. Like, it's all the classic things. Yeah, it's all the classic shit. It's like self-blame, like all this worth, and I saw his confidence. Like, I went to school with him for 9 years straight, kindergarten to 8th grade, and I remembered, like, the ups and downs, like, he had. And I was like, fuck, man, like, that's probably more important than whether or not someone got divorced,
Dude, you're the most observant 6-year-old I've ever heard about.
Seriously.
I was probably like, dude, who you guys would think would win, Donatello or Splinter?
But that's what we were trying to talk about. But that's the sad thing, is like,
this guy was killing the vibe the whole time.
Yeah, this guy's like,
you learn a new word. It's like, what if Raphael and Donatello get a divorce?
I'm like, okay, Casey Jones has to fight Shredder, but he doesn't have his hockey stick. And then all of my friends are like, whoa! Holy shit!
I think that's the best part with, like, growing up with the same friends for so long, is that interactions that you had at 6, you're talking about them at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So the story continues.
Like, he remembers distinctly to this day having that talk with me, and it's still sad.
Did you go to the same school back then?
Yeah, I went to Bellflower.
Okay. So,
Adventist Union School from kindergarten to 8th grade.
And then you swapped over to my school?
The same, like, 16 friends all 9 years.
Who's stronger, Superman or Hulk?
Superman.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
To get a divorce. Superman or Hulk?
Probably Hulk.
Probably Hulk. Because of the anger issues.
Yeah.
But Superman's, he's not far off. He's right there.
Superman! He's too simpy, dude. I can kind of see his wife cheating on him.
I can see it too.
With Batman.
The Hulk?
Yeah, with the guy with the edge.
Definitely with a Dark Knight.
Superman.
Oh, shit. Getting soft on us, dude.
For everybody here, because I'm a team member, you know what I mean? And by the way, Shredder would win.
I think so too. I think that's not bad, actually.
Without the hockey stick?
Shredder?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yo, when you talking about Casey Jones?
Without the hockey.
Catch it.
Keep up with the conversation, Ryan.
I was like, Shredder versus Superman?
Ryan's still thinking about this stupid divorce conversation.
You're not 6 anymore.
What's next? Next in the
I do believe, like, why that stat also is true about the whole divorce thing, right? Is couples that are more likely to divorce, it's because they don't have conflict resolution. So that couple that ended up getting divorced, you grow up watching the lack of conflict resolution. Whereas some marriages, I mean, obviously some of them just are really good at bearing issues and they don't stick with any of that shit.
Yeah.
Stop it, motherfucker.
How did you know?
I saw him.
Talking about Captain Planet, dude.
So like some couples, right? They or like they're like they should get divorced, but they bury all of their issues. So that's a whole different set of problems that you can't objectively identify. So they might get into another marriage copying mommy and daddy, but in an abusive relationship like your family, they never get divorced. And then statistically, you think that's a successful marriage when it's not.
Right. That's the danger that I was talking about. It's like, oh, the preservation of one's reputation.
Yeah.
And the willingness to like constantly come home to something that shouldn't be.
Exactly.
Holy shit, dude. Yeah. That's the problem with having an outside motivator, like whether it's you're standing in a community or religion as a whole. Like religion, I think in that sense kind of could be a good or bad thing, because religion might make you a better person, but also you're confined to these specific rules where it's like, hey, in the Bible it says a woman is a man's property, so...
Which is true. Yeah. I say it to my wife all the time.
You're made out of my ribs, bitch.
Yeah.
I know ladies love that because it's hot.
They love that. Yeah.
I go, you're my property.
That's probably why they came up with like arranged marriage and all this shit, because they're like, man, look at these stupid ass kids. They can't choose their own partner. So then you choose someone for them. Or like they have all these different systems that humans try to prevent as the least problems for the future.
Yeah.
But it's the parents who are setting up those arranged marriages, and they're the ones that raised that child to be stupid. So who's really stupid?
Yeah, right.
That's true. And I feel like they use like kids to barter for marriage, for like building relationships and business. Like I think that was like how it started before. And I think we should keep continuing to do that to this day.
Every day.
I think when you wrap a kid up in that type of shit, whether or not the kid gets divorced as well is probably the least of your behavioral concerns.
Yeah.
Was it you who's telling me about like there was like a court thing about like two people getting a divorce, there's a dog involved, and then they're like, let the dog pick, and they like let the dog go in court.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah.
told you that?
Yeah.
That's like that TikTok video where they fucking both run this way and the dog chases one or the other.
The dog like runs up to the judge.
Yeah, who knows?
Get me out of here.
Flanders when they're calling Maggie.
Yeah.
What's the stat now? Isn't it over 50% of marriages end up in divorce?
Yeah.
And then I think the stats is women initiate more than men.
I've heard of that. So women were more likely to leave relationships than men. Yeah.
Do we know what like the leading cause for that is?
Complacency, I bet.
Or is it like it's like
changes. I feel like it changes.
but it's because men are more likely to cheat? Like what's the real cause?
I know that infidelity, at least the last time I looked, wasn't number one. I know.
Chores. We talked about this yesterday. Chores.
Yeah.
Chores.
I thought it was finances.
Yeah, I think women are in positions where they don't necessarily feel like the man is adding as much value to the relationship, so they're more inclined to leave. Like they make their own money now. They actually make more money than some men do. So
they're less. They don't have to lean on them as much.
they don't have to be as codependent in the relationship, so they don't put up with the, Sorry, what did you say?
I was like, or they just met a new guy that's richer.
Sure, that could be another variable.
I wish I could meet a new guy that's richer.
Speaking of richer, Iron Man or Batman? Who'd win?
Ooh, Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man all the way.
Think so?
He's way richer than Bruce Wayne.
Because the repulsors, probably, huh?
Probably just all the other tech.
Iron Man is self-made. Bruce Wayne is a fucking rich boy.
Divorce rate's actually lower.
I heard it's been getting lower.
It's actually
The pandemic worked for us.
It's actually between 40 and 50% now. It actually went down.
Hey!
You
Congrats.
also think maybe less people are marrying?
Could be.
Because at least that's what I'm recognizing too. Is like people are waiting till later on in age to marry, and people just don't marry at all.
It
They're
says
just being
the-
more intentional with who they choose to marry, so they wait longer.
Yeah.
It's so fucking expensive to get divorced. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, full metal.
That's also true.
That's a huge one.
And some people just separate without ever filing.
Yeah.
The ages between 28 and 32, so far statistically, have the most successful marriages.
Wait, 28 to 32.
28 to 32, yeah.
If they stay around that age, or
What do you mean, like they never age?
No, like
doing it, Peter?
if they could last through that age, then their marriage is
if you
successful.
got married at
During
the age of either 28, 29, 31, 32, those
Late
are the
20s?
highest rate of stay together.
Yeah.
And then the leading cause so far at this point is still basic incompatibility, where it's like that gray, like irreconcilable
differences.
Yeah. Have you guys seen that?
One of them was in-laws. In-laws will play a big role.
Huge, dude. In-laws are huge.
Finances, huh?
Not number one, but I'm sure finance is probably.
In-laws being pains in the asses, or
100%.
Oh, just over involving themselves in your relationship.
oh yeah.
That causes dynamics with the couple too, because it's like, oh, you're not supporting me. This, you're not doing that.
That's one thing my mom said is that when you get married to someone, you're not marrying her, you're marrying her family. So watch out for her family.
Yeah, infidelity is up there. Distance, domestic violence, substance.
That should be a big one.
Ooh, substance.
Drugs and violence? Fuck. Get the hell out of there.
Lack of shared interests. Yeah.
Oh, really? It's like you never go kayaking with me.
Yeah, kayaking's here. Yeah.
And then you get a divorce off of no kayaking time?
Yeah.